When you hear the sound of the bell, you know you in the championship rounds with King Amin of Essex. And I'm jumping back into the mix, kind of took the summer off. We're gonna get right back into the mix with a preview of a big fight this weekend. Jessica McCaskill versus Sandy Ryan. This is a welterweight division unification. But we got some housekeeping to do. It's been some stuff going on, so we got to talk about it. Last we spoke, I believe Alicia Bumgarner had defeated her opponent in a rematch, Christina Leonardo. However, since that bout, there's been some controversy alleging PED usage, failed tests. Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm just being honest with you guys. At the end of the day, whatever the ruling is, that's what I'm gonna go by. I can't judge anybody's intent. I know that a lot of those over-the-counter joints, even if you taking like a pre-workout, some of that the content in that is considered a banned substance. So I mean, listen, man, it's really too hard for me to tell. Me personally, I just rock out with some sea moss and some caffeine, like some coffee or something. So, I try to ease up off the supplements. Although, you might want to try to throw in some amino acids. People like, anabolic this and that. And that's where it can get tricky. So I don't know what happened, but what I do know is I wouldn't even say a campaign trail. I would say that Alicia Bumgarner right now is performing her champly duties, if you will. She's out here shaking hands, kissing the babies, doing a lot of humanitarian stuff. So salute to her. And we'll have to wait till the results come out before we can make a full assessment of what she did or did not do. Interesting question though. While she's out here polishing that celebrity and garnering this attention, right? Will she be one of the many female boxers that has joined the ranks of the PFL? One of the things I saw over the summer, they've already had Clarissa Shields, and that was a big deal. We know Amanda Serrano was involved in MMA, but she just signed to PFL, and guess who else they signed? Savannah Marshall, right? So this could be, listen, we talk about Alicia Bumgarner being strong, and guess what? She's got a history in wrestling. So the foundation for me, I know a little bit about MMA. The foundation, wrestling and boxing. Everything else you can learn on the fly. So that transition might be much easier. I don't say easier, but I don't know, man. Listen, that would be a great prospect. So it seems like PFL are signing all the women fighters. I think that's also a great way to market them, definitely get a lot of cross promotion going on. So, I like to see that. Definitely like to see that. I don't know when these next bouts are happening. As far as, like I said, they signed Amanda Serrano recently to a deal, but she's got some interesting things going on in the world of boxing. Of course, we know this summer she defended her title against Heather Hardy. I'm going to use that word again, another humanitarian or a charitable affair. We know Heather Hardy is a legend in New York, in women's boxing, if you will. And that fight was an opportunity for Heather to basically get cashed out. Let's call it what it is. And I think that's a respectful assessment. Yeah. Um, Now Amanda Serrano, not only did she uh make that title defense, like I said, she is challenging the rules, man. She's changing the game. And not that, shout out to Brazil, but Beatriz Ferreira made her debut doing 3-round bouts. So I gotta call it where it was first and foremost. But certainly for a championship bout, 3-minute rounds, Amanda Serrano's going to be the one to do it against her opponent, Danila Ramos. So that should be interesting to see um, her get her tang. I don't have any questions about it. I mean, maybe this will be something that adds, I don't know, for those that want it, more knockouts in women's boxing. Could it be adding 3 minutes gives more opportunities for power punchers and high volume punchers like the Amanda Serranos of the world to, score a knockout? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. All right. Um, Speaking of, right? I mentioned Amanda Serrano. She has an opponent of hers that is making a name for herself. Had a pretty good fight this weekend past, and I gotta talk about her. I'm talking about one Erica Cruz Hernandez. I don't know whether she legitimately is or isn't this guy Isaac Cruz's aunt. Very similar styles though, for better and for worse. It's one of those styles that you know what it is. It's pressure fighting, it's coming forward, but it's organized chaos. And I would like to say Erica Cruz Hernandez is a little bit more technical. And what I noticed about her in this bout last weekend against Melissa Odessa, man, constantly going to the body, constantly going to the body. And if you got to protect your body, and what she does as she's going to the body is sloppy because it's not what you want from your fighter. But again, she's leaning in and she's doing it, but it's not overhand, overhead. It's ducking low, and she might even swing to the body. So she's just, I guess challenging her opponent to vary their offense. She's going to take them punches on the top of the head or on the shoulders, about the body, but she's constantly going to the body, and then she'll come up top like a little bull rush, not quite a gazelle punch, but a little bull rush, a little over top pop. But again, head down and go to the body. Most fighters you see do that. They'll, throw their head down and wing one over the top, going for a head punch. But very interesting style. And for a fighter like Odessa, she couldn't really handle that awkwardness because it was just consistently coming forward. And I say all that to say it makes what Amanda Serrano did all that more impressive, because Cruz Hernandez won that fight, and she did so pretty handedly. I mean, Parker Odessa had her moments, but it was Cruz's fight, man. So there's hats off to her, man. Hats off to her. All right. Another fighter this weekend pass. I might have to call her the Dimple, okay? Yokasta Valle. Now, we all know there's a lot of questions about her resume. The one thing I gotta say, for those that don't know, she's the unified champ, scheduled at some point to face Seniesa Estrada to unify the strawweight titles or minimum weight titles, however you want to call it. But I think people is that they don't get what Valle is doing, and I think she has to do it. Here's what I'm saying. You guys never heard of her until I've heard of her. I've been talking about it, right? Go check that catalog. But you guys didn't get put onto her until she was mentioned in the same breath as Seniesa Estrada. But where were you guys when she beat Evelyn Bermudez? Crickets. You wasn't there, okay? So just because she wants to fight more in Costa Rica, she's a diplomat for that, bringing a lot to the fight game, fighting in stadiums over there. And she's doing a little bit of a victory lap, even stateside now. So she fought. The fight was in what was it, Corpus Christi? Is out in Texas, but she's also got a fight on November 4th coming up. I think that's in Costa Rica, and it's obviously not against Seniesa Estrada. Well, hell, let her get some time to work that shine. She just got me, and you know how gracious she is. She showed up at the TBV appreciation night out in Vegas with her translator, so she could take in, the comments and engage with her fandom. You get what I'm saying? So let her kind of work it a little bit. The fight is very much building up to be a big one, and Seniesa seems to believe it herself. She's defeated most of Valle's more challenging opponents in her opinion. So if that's the case, we'll have to see when it goes down. But I love that fight. Can't wait for it to happen. I wonder what Estrada's going to do in the meanwhile. Maybe Top Rank's going to keep her busy, and maybe she's just going to take some rest, all right? Because she had a pretty good year. I think she fought 2 times this year, so maybe she'll take the rest of the year off. Maybe she'll get one more fight in. I'm certainly hoping so. Last but not least, this one is the unification welterweight. You got Jessica McCaskill versus Sandy Ryan. Sandy Ryan is coming stateside. This is on the undercard of the Richardson Hitchens versus Jose Chon Zepeda main event. Man, I'm a big fan of Sandy Ryan. I've seen all of her fights, every single one of them. And I'm not going to say that I'm not a fan of Jessica McCaskill because I'm a fan of women's boxing. However, guys, I'm going with Sandy Ryan. I just like the girl. I like her toughness. She's a conventional fighter, but she insists on fighting southpaw. And what that means to me, from what I see, she'll sacrifice defense for offense. Offense is her defense. Yes, not always the best way to fight, but all her fights thus far have been entertaining. She showed resiliency. She suffered the loss in her first title contest, and then came back. She's got some good wins on her resume. She's 6-1, but she's got Esther Anahi Sanchez. And she's got what's the girl? I think Erica Annabella. You know, the two tough Argentinian girls, former champions, never turning down no fades. Again, at 6-1, she captured the title. Now McCaskill, not and again, I'm not thumbing my nose at her. She's great. But what I saw against Chantel Cameron, I didn't like. And I always happened to think Miss McCaskill to be a conventional fighter, her offense is very risky, to say the least. And against a pressure fighter, one that might could give you two different looks, I just think it's a very dangerous fight for McCaskill, one of which I'm choosing Sandy Ryan. And my only issue with Sandy Ryan has been it's a nickname. I don't even remember. It was something she chose, man. But I've been calling her Bad Gal Sandy. She keep a couple yardies around her. So you might as well soak that one on up, man. You know, tip me later. I'll take some perpetuity on your illustrious career when you earn millions. All right. But yeah, you gotta fix up that nickname. Go with Bad Gal Sandy until we work out something else. Yeah, hell of a fight this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. And I can't wait. All right. So this is what it is, and this is what it's been. This is how we're going to resume Women's Boxing Wednesday. So I want you guys to pay attention to all of the goings on. We'll be back next week. Be sure to check out the rest of the content and catalog. I got some good stuff coming back. Remember, school is back in session, so your boy is here. All right. Stay safe, stay dangerous, and don't waste your hustle.